Conrad Harrigan's wife, Maeve, has had some influence on all of his significant decisions in MobLand. Although he has frequently been the one to formally make the decision to do things like kill Archie or forgive Eddie, Maeve has been there to support him and encourage him when he doesn't, or to call him out as a coward or weakling if he doesn't. It's become increasingly evident that Conrad can sense Maeve's power spreading well beyond where he wants it to be, and by claiming responsibility for Vron's death, Conrad is taking back control. Conrad Harrigan may be the leader of a prosperous criminal organization, but it has been made apparent that he is no longer Conrad the Dread, in any sense. Instead of a deadly and intimidating mobster, there is a temperamental elderly guy who has lost control over both his family and his criminal enterprise. Conrad blustered about disrespect and has since gone along with Maeve and Eddie's plot to kill Tommy Stevenson behind his back, but he had nothing to do with the real plotting of a war or the strong-arming of the Stevensons out of London. It's been Maeve manipulating the chess pieces all along, often using Conrad's own hand to do it. It seems more and more likely that she isn't actually acting in the best interest of Conrad, as every move she has pushed him towards has loosened his control of his family, his criminal organization, and his freedom. It seems likely that Maeve made the anonymous call to the police about Archie's body. Conrad is now more susceptible to a power attempt by his own betrayed wife to remove him from his position as the leader of the Harrigan crime family after 6 episodes of MobLand. However, Richie's wife Vron was blown up as soon as she turned on her automobile, which instantly destroyed any illusions of serenity and doubled Richie's sorrow. After Eddie and Maeve stupidly killed Tommy Stevenson, Kevin Harrigan and Harry de Souza spent the last 3 episodes attempting to create a lasting reconciliation, but a vengeful Maeve cancelled their efforts with a single phone call. That may have been a big mistake, as 2 Harrigans were already in Richie's crosshairs at the end of MobLand's 6th episode. In the few scenes that featured Brendan and Serafina Harrigan in the early episodes of MobLand, Brendan attempted to convince his financially successful half-sister to join him on a surefire scheme that would allegedly be extremely profitable for both of them as well as give the Harrigans a way to launder their money. In episode 6, Brendan's plan eventually came to fruition when it was disclosed that he had a contact attempting to sell some Mozambican rubies for significantly less than the going rate. Serafina consents to meet with his contact in order to gauge the situation in an effort to win over the Harrigans as a whole. At least until a small army of gunmen attacks the warehouse where the deal is being conducted, it looks like the deal is on the rise. Both Serafina and Brendan are encircled by assailants after they have massacred everyone, including Serafina's own team of skilled security guards. Although neither Brendan's nor Serafina's final fates are disclosed, it seems reasonable to presume that the gunmen were captured. It doesn't seem likely that their deaths would occur off-screen or so fast, particularly if Richie was responsible for the assault. Maeve sees an opportunity and practically tells Conrad about it once the Harrigans understand that Brendan and Serafina are far from the relative protection of the manor at the Cotswolds. She informs her cherished grandson, and occasionally henchman, Eddie of her next course of action after characterizing Brendan and Serafina as weak links that she wouldn't mind losing. With Eddie present, she calls Richie Stevenson directly and gives him the address of Serafina and Brendan in Antwerp, with the stipulation that he is not allowed to hurt Brendan, but is free to do as he pleases with Serafina. It was believed that Maeve called Richie's wife to kill her for the transgression she committed. Based on the sequence of events in episode 5, Vron insults Maeve, Maeve contacts Paul, and Vron is blown up. Conrad asserts, however, that he and not Maeve ultimately decided to kill Vron when the Harrigans are debating it after they have gathered at the manor. He refers to the activity as Plan B and describes how he had Paul put the bomb a week earlier while Vron was shopping, but when he says he called for Vron's death, Maeve appears utterly taken aback. Furthermore, Paul subtly denied the information he gives the family on the time and method by which he had Paul put up the device, suggesting that Conrad may have had a passing awareness of it but was not directly involved in its preparation or execution. Conrad wants to keep up the appearance that he is in charge, even though it is rather obvious that Maeve actually made the hasty decision to kill Vron. Despite being the firstborn son of Maeve and Conrad, Brendan is seen negatively by the Harrigans because of his history of bad business dealings that have cost them millions of dollars over the years. In addition, he appears to be less bright and a coward, which is undoubtedly why Maeve calls him the family's weakest member. Brendan viewed the ruby trade as a means of restoring the family's favor and giving them quick cash at a time when they would soon need it. Serafina, who is only half Harrigan, accompanied Brendan for the same reason, to establish her value inside the company.